Protein bars promise fuel for your body, but what are they really doing to your gut? Could that quick snack be slowly reshaping the system that controls your health from the inside out? Let's find out. The hidden ingredient web. Protein bars are marketed as simple solutions. Just peel back the wrapper and you're holding fuel for your day. But inside that wrapper is usually a long list of ingredients that reads more like a chemistry experiment than a snack. And those hidden extras may be where gut problems begin. Many commercial protein bars rely on emulsifiers, thickeners, and stabilizer to keep the texture chewy, soft, and shelf-stable. These ingredients make the bar look and feel good, but they aren't always friendly to your digestive system. For example, emulsifiers like polysorbate 80 and carbozymexyl cellulose have been studied for their ability to change the gut environment in ways that could disturb the balance of healthy bacteria. Even in small amounts, repeated exposure over time may contribute to irritation in the gut lining or shifts in microbiome diversity. Another group of additives often found in bars are preservatives and synthetic stabilizers, which help to extend shelf life. While they aren't toxic in regulated amounts, their interaction with the trillions of microbes living inside the intestines is still an active area of research. Early studies suggest that even common food additives may nudge the microbiome away from its natural diversity, and less diversity often means weaker gut resilience. When you add all of these extras together, emulsifiers, stabilizers, preservatives, you get an ingredient web that goes far beyond the protein itself. And while none of these components are dangerous in isolation, the constant consumption of heavily engineered products may gradually wear down gut balance. The gut thrives on variety, real fiber, and minimally processed foods. A steady diet of additives can push it in the opposite direction, which is why many protein bars raise red flags when it comes to long-term gut health. If the idea of hidden sugars, mystery proteins, and candy-flavored marketing makes you uneasy, you're not alone. The good news is not all protein bars follow those rules. Instead of sugar alcohols, or artificial sweeteners, MunkPack offers a range of better options, including bars made with allulose, a so-called rare sugar that is naturally occurring in figs and raisins and does not raise blood glucose. Simple ingredients you can actually recognize, with some featuring a complete protein blend plus prebiotic fiber for real digestive support. It's a premium bar that finally delivers on the promise of health. Click the first link in the description and see what a truly clean protein bar can be. But hidden additives are only one part of the story. Even protein itself, the very thing you're buying the bar for, isn't always what it seems. The protein illusion. At first glance, a label that says 20 grams of protein feels like the ultimate badge of health. But what that number doesn't reveal is where the protein comes from, and that makes all the difference for your gut. Protein bars come in a variety of sources. Some are whole food based like nuts, seeds, and oats, which naturally bring fiber, minerals, and plant compounds that nourish the gut microbiome. Others use concentrated proteins such as pea, rice, and whey to boost the protein count. These concentrated forms aren't bad, but they're very different from eating the original food. They deliver the protein efficiently, yet often without the broader package of nutrients that whole foods provide. This difference matters because the gut thrives on more than protein alone. When you eat a handful of almonds, your digestive system also gets fiber that supports healthy bacteria, fats that slow digestion, and antioxidants that calm inflammation. A bar made mostly with protein powders can supply muscle fuel, but it may not deliver the same ecosystem of nutrition your gut expects from whole foods. It's also worth noting that not all protein powders are created equal. Processing methods vary, and that can influence how easy they are to digest. Plant-based proteins like pea and rice protein are often well tolerated, while other forms, such as certain dairy proteins, may feel heavy for sensitive individuals. So, while the number on the wrapper might look impressive, the real story is in the quality and balance of the protein source. Your gut is less concerned with the headline figure and more concerned with whether that protein is supported by the fibers, fats, and phytonutrients that help it thrive. So if protein isn't the full picture, what about fiber, the nutrient everyone praises as gut-friendly? As it turns out, not all fibers treat your gut the same way. way. Fiber, friend or foe? Fiber is one of the most praised nutrients in modern nutrition. It's linked to better digestion, lower cholesterol, improved blood sugar control, and most importantly for this discussion, a healthier gut microbiome. So when you see high fiber stamped on a protein bar wrapper, it feels like a guaranteed win. But here's the twist. Not all fibers act the same way once they reach your gut. Many bars add fiber using inulin, chicory root extract, or synthetic fibers. These ingredients can raise the fiber count quickly and make the nutrition label look impressive, but for people with sensitive digestion, large amounts of these concentrated fibers may lead to bloating, cramping, or gas. That's because they ferment rapidly in the colon, producing gas as gut bacteria break them down. On the other hand, fibers that come from whole foods like oats, seeds, and nuts often work more gently, providing both soluble and insoluble fiber, which not only supports healthy bowel movements but also gives gut bacteria a slower, steadier fuel source. This promotes a balanced microbiome without the sharp fermentation spikes that can cause discomfort. Another factor to consider is how fiber interacts with sweeteners and protein sources. A bar with lots of added fiber but very little whole food content might technically meet the daily fiber target, but it doesn't always nourish the gut in the same way as a bowl of oatmeal or a handful of seeds would. The context of the fiber and what it's paired with matters just as much as the number itself. So, is fiber a friend or a foe? The answer depends on the type and the dose. In moderation and from diverse sources, fiber is one of the most powerful tools for gut health. But when it's used in excess or comes from highly concentrated additives, it can tip from being supportive to being uncomfortable. For anyone relying on protein bars, the smartest question isn't how much fiber does this bar have, but what kind of fiber am I actually eating? But fiber isn't the only ingredient playing tricks. To make a protein bar taste like dessert, manufacturers lean on sweeteners and flavors, and that's where the gut faces an even bigger challenge. Artificial sweeteners and flavor enhancers. Sweetness is one of the most powerful levers in food, driving cravings, lighting up reward pathways in the brain, and it makes protein bars taste like dessert instead of nutrition. But sweetness doesn't always come from sugar. In fact, many bars are engineered with a cocktail of artificial sweeteners, sugar substitutes, and flavor enhancers designed to trick your taste buds. The question is, what do they do to your gut? Artificial sweeteners like sucralose, aspartame, and others are widely used to cut calories while keeping the taste, and these compounds don't break down in the same way as sugar, which is exactly why they're calorie-free. But research shows that they may still interact with the gut microbiome. Some studies suggest that certain sweeteners can shift the balance of gut bacteria, reducing diversity or favoring strains that are linked with glucose intolerance. The science is still evolving, but the trend is clear. Your gut knows the difference between real sugar, natural alternatives, and synthetic substitutes. Sugar alcohols like maltitol and sorbitol also appear in many bars, and while technically not artificial, they behave differently in the gut. Because they're only partially absorbed, they move into the colon where bacteria ferments them. This fermentation can cause gas, bloating, or laxative effects in sensitive individuals, and for some people, just one bar with a heavy dose of sugar alcohols can feel like a digestive experiment gone wrong. Flavor and sweetness are what make protein bars enjoyable. Without them, the market wouldn't exist. But the gut pays attention not to taste, but to chemistry. And in many bars, the flavor profile is built on ingredients that can quietly alter the microbiome over time. The hidden truth is that what tastes light to you may not feel that way to trillions of microbes in your gut. The real danger isn't the taste, it's what comes next. A surge, a crash, and a gut that's dragged along for the ride every single time. The blood sugar roller coaster. Protein bars are often sold as steady fuel, the kind of snack that keeps you full and energized for hours. When in reality, many bars create the exact opposite effect. Instead of lasting energy, they set you up for a spike and crash that feels more like candy than nutrition. The problem usually comes down to the sweeteners and binders. Bars that rely heavily on syrups like brown rice syrup or glucose syrup flood the bloodstream with fast-digesting sugars. Blood sugar shoots up, insulin surges, and for a short time you feel the lift. But soon after, your levels drop, leaving you sluggish and craving more. For the gut, these ups and downs influence the delicate gut-to-brain axis, the constant communication between digestion and mood, conditioning cravings and feeding microbes that prefer quick sugars over long-lasting fibers. This isn't only about sugar itself though, but about the overall balance of ingredients. Some brands lean on cheap sweeteners that behave like liquid candy, while others build their sweetness profile differently. For example, using alternatives like allulose or monk fruit, which are naturally low glycemic, helps create sweetness without triggering sharp spikes. And when paired with fibers that slow digestion and plant-based proteins that stabilize blood sugar, the energy curve flattens. Instead of a crash, you get a steadier release of fuel. That's why not every bar leads to the roller coaster. When the recipe's designed with gut health in mind, the body reacts differently. Instead of feeling the quick rush and collapse, you feel more sustained energy because your gut microbes are being fed with fibers and proteins that they can actually use rather than being bombarded with syrupy shortcuts. So while the industry as a whole struggles with the sugar trap, the real story is about how carefully chosen ingredients can change the outcome. It's not just about avoiding sugar, but about giving your gut and your bloodstream a smoother ride. One spike or one crash may not seem like much, but repeated day after day, year after year, the gut begins to change and the long-term effects may surprise you. The long-term gut connection. Eating one protein bar won't destroy your gut health overnight. The real concern is what happens over months and years when heavily processed snacks become the norm. That's because your gut microbiome, the community of trillions of bacteria living in your intestines, adapts to whatever you feed it most often. And the difference between bars built on syrups, artificial sweeteners, and heavy processing agents versus bars made with fiber, nuts, seeds, and plant proteins can be dramatic. When the microbiome is exposed again and again to refined sugars, artificial additives, and hard-to-digest ingredients, its diversity can shrink. Certain fast sugar microbes multiply, while fiber-loving species that protect the gut lining may decline. Over time, the imbalance can influence not only digestion, but also inflammation, metabolism, and even mood through the gut-to-brain axis. It's a slow shift, and that's why the damage often goes unnoticed until symptoms like bloating, fatigue, and irregular digestion become routine. Bars that use plant-based proteins supported by real food ingredients like nuts, seeds, and oats supply amino acids, along with natural fibers and phytonutrients. When the sweeteners are low glycemic options like allulose or monk fruit, blood sugar stays stable, and the gut avoids the roller coaster effect that strains microbial balance. When the fiber comes from sources that are easier to tolerate, it actually fuels beneficial bacteria. This is the long game of gut health. Every snack and meal, every choice shapes the ecosystem inside of you. Some protein bars quietly erode that balance over time, while others are designed to support it. If the wrong bars can quietly weaken your gut, what about the right ones? The answer may change the way you look at every wrapper you pick up. Gut-friendly fuel. By now, it's clear that protein bars can be a double-edged sword. On one side, they offer convenience like portable protein, quick energy, and a way to fight off hunger when life gets busy. On the other side, many bars are built on the same blueprint as candy, loaded with syrups, artificial sweeteners, and additives that slowly wear down gut health. But here's the part most people overlook. Not all bars fit that mold. The key difference lies in the ingredients chosen and how they're balanced. A bar designed with whole food building blocks like nuts, seeds, oats, or plant proteins doesn't only deliver protein, it also gives fibers, fats, and micronutrients that your gut microbes recognize and thrive on. A sweetener that's low glycemic and easy to digest won't set off the blood sugar roller coaster, and fibers that nourish beneficial bacteria, instead of overwhelming the gut with excess fermentation, can turn a simple snack into long-term support for the microbiome. This is where the market's beginning to shift. People are realizing that protein bars don't have to be a guilty compromise. They can actually be part of a gut-friendly lifestyle when they're formulated with care. The science of gut health becomes clear. Diverse fibers, balanced proteins, and stable blood sugar are all pillars of a strong microbiome. Making smarter choices doesn't mean avoiding protein bars altogether. It means looking past the marketing and into the ingredient list. It means choosing options where protein is part of a complete food story. And it means recognizing that your gut isn't fooled by clever labeling. It knows the difference between shortcuts and support. In the end, protein bars can either push your microbiome out of balance or help keep it resilient. The smarter the choice, the better the outcome. And the good news is, those smarter choices are out there waiting behind the wrapper. I hope this video video helped you and will improve your health choices. At MunkPack, the mission is simple. Protein and gut health combined with low sugar prove that you don't need hidden sugars or fake ingredients to enjoy something delicious and meet your nutritional goals. If you want to try it for yourself, click that first link in the description and discover what smarter choices really taste like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.